Okay, right. So, guys, 8 o'clock. Time for us to get started. My name is Roger Garth. Welcome to the call. Tonight's call is a very, very special call as far as we're concerned. It's been an incredibly exciting time. This last week was crazy. If you were on the Chairman Bootcamp calls, if you didn't take a million pages of notes, I mean, I have got so many notes I can't tell you. It was absolutely awesome. If you didn't get to see all of the calls, well, you're crazy, but fortunately they were recorded. So every single call is available for you. All you need to do is speak to your upline and we'll tell you exactly where you can go and see those calls, and you can do the Chairman Bootcamp all over again. And in fact, I think it's worth doing all over again, even if you did see it. Right now, however, is the beginning of a spectacularly important 4 weeks for us, because in the space of the next 4 weeks, the intention is to double the number of people in the company. And no matter which company you're with, that is a huge, huge order. But we have all the tools and everything that you need to actually do that. My phone has gone in absolute meltdowns today. People have been trying to get hold of me for hours. I've been doing calls with prospects. I've been doing three-way calls. I've been booking people onto all the Zooms that we've got coming. And I cannot wait for the Zooms that are going to get started tomorrow with Matt and Jason. And you're going to have the best in the business actually presenting this for you. If you're relatively new to this business and you don't know what it's about, this is the deal. It's really simple. All you need to do is tell people to go and watch a video and let someone who knows all about it intimately explain the business to you. Now, Zoom has gone, Christ, was working for me again. I was panicking for a second there. Okay, so I've got to look through my screens. So right now, having said all of that, what I'm going to do right now, we have a very, very special training right now. And on this training right now, yeah, Zoom is absolutely going crazy. But Matt, can you unmute yourself? Because I can't seem to...
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Fabulous, I can. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, rather than me go any further, let me introduce who hosted the calls last week and is going to be co-host for this next 5 days for absolutely astonishing calls for us. Chairman 500, Matt Rosa. Matt, over to you, my friend.
My brother. Give me 1 second. I'm going Instagram live with this as well. We opened up the call to a few other teams and it filled up quick. So we're going to make sure that everyone's able to get this information. So let me go Instagram live. All right. Awesome. Well, first and foremost, Roger, I appreciate that introduction. I'm super excited to be on this call right now. We have 100 people on the Zoom call, and we're going to have a few thousand people jumping on through this Instagram live. One of my favorite things to address is leadership, right? But I think that's so often we get lost in leadership. We get lost in trying to be the best leader that we possibly can be, that we tend to forget the values of a true follower. We tend to forget the values of a true follower and what it is that they bring to the table. And I'll be real, I've been leading an organization. My organization now is over 80,000 active subscribers. Over the course of the past 29, 30 days, we've put in over 18,000 customers into the business. I get so wrapped up in the leadership position that I tend to forget how it is to truly follow. I tend to forget how it is to be a member of the team and not just a leader of the team. I tend to forget the values of an organization, or rather of the values that create an ideal organization, right? So that's actually what I want to talk about today. One of my mentors, somebody that I greatly look up to, is a pastor out here for a church called VOO Church, right? VOO Church. His name is Rich Wilkerson Jr. And everything, when I look at the way he leads his congregation, I look at how it is that I want to replicate it within our organization. I think that you guys are going to take extreme value from this. So before we get into this thing, guys, I'm extremely privileged to have the opportunity to teach you what it is that I'm going to be teaching you today. But also on top of that, there's a few house rules. If you're on this thing, make sure that you're taking notes. To prove in fact, you're only going to retain about 5% of what it is that you learn if you don't write this thing down. The next thing I'm going to say, guys, is that you make sure you teach each and every single individual that joins your organization, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's today, or whether they're on this call or not, what it is that you're going to learn. Because in this industry, if you're trying to go big, it's not necessarily about what it is that you can do, right? I think it's about what it is that we can teach, and we're going to go over that. But what you're able to teach is duplicatable, and duplication leads to momentum each and every single time. So again, guys, this is something I learned from Rich Wilkerson, and this is the team values. And I would love for us to hold our organizations to this standard, right? I would love for us to hold our organization to this standard, because I know what this is going to do for our team when we're all aligned. Because guys, all momentum really is, truth be told, all momentum really is a group moving in unison towards one specific task and goal. A group of individuals moving in unison towards one specific task and goal. And if we move in unison with these values, it's only going to go ahead and raise the standard. It's only going to go ahead and raise the bar of our organization and absolutely everyone involved. So the first value, right, is, can we make it better? Are we making it better? You see, what I mean by that is, what are we doing personally? What are we doing personally to add value to the organization? Are we somebody that is just coming to the calls? Are we somebody that is adding value to the calls? Are we somebody that is just showing up to the events? Are we somebody that is actually adding value to the events, right? You see, as an individual, you are willing to make it better, not later, but make it better now. You're not willing to make it better later. You're willing to make it better now. So what does that mean, guys? I won't do tomorrow what it is that I can do today. If you see somebody struggling, are you adding that value to their lives right now? If you see somebody that may have just got started and they're extremely intimidated by the onboarding process, are you helping them make it better right now? Right? What are we doing as individuals to make the organization better, to make the team that much better, that much effective, right? And I think that one of the things that we can do in order to make it better, right? Because what we want to do here inside of our organization is that we want to make sure that we create a culture where people always want to improve. Where they're not, I'm going to say that again for the individuals that are taking notes. We want to create a culture where people always want to improve, ladies and gentlemen. Right? And they're not focused on perfection, but they're rather focused on progression. That you see, so often when we get involved in business, when we get involved in organizations, when we get involved in spirituality, when we get involved in whatever the case may be, we focus and we fixate ourselves on becoming perfect. We try to fixate ourselves on becoming perfect, when in reality, we need to fixate ourselves on progression. Progression over perfection 10 times out of 10. So how can we progress on a day-to-day basis, right? How is it that we're able to progress on a day-to-day basis? Well, check this out, guys. It's 4 simple steps. Step number 1, you want to imitate. You want to look at somebody, whether it's Brandon Boyd, you want to look at somebody, whether it's Rich Wilkerson, you want to look at somebody, whether it's myself, you want to look at somebody, whether it's Alex Morton, and you want to first and foremost imitate what it is that they're doing. Now, once you've gotten the imitation down, right, because you know what they say, do what they do, you're going to get exactly what it is that they get. I don't believe in that completely, though. Because there's so much more than just doing what it is that they do. Once you've done what it is that they've done, now it's time to innovate. So the first step is imitate, right? The second step is innovate. You're allowed to make things your own. There is nothing that someone has taught you that they've created from thin air. 9 times out of 10, everything we teach, we've gone ahead and we've learned from someone, and then we've innovated what it is that we learned. Right? So the first thing is you want to imitate the right individual. You want to copy the right cat, right? Once you copy the right cat, you're going to innovate it to the point that it is your own, where it shows your personality, where it shows the type of individual that you are. Now, once you've done that, you want to take a step back and evaluate. Remember, it's imitate, innovate, and then you want to evaluate what it is that you just did. You want to evaluate whether or not it was receptive to the organization. You want to evaluate whether it was a reflection of what it is that you wanted to get across, right? And then once you've evaluated, it's time to repeat over and over and over again. Not just in your organization, not just you doing that, but other individuals repeating what it is that you had just done. So step number 1, right? Step number 1 is that you want to imitate the right individual. You want to copy the right cat. Step number 2 is that you want to innovate what it is that you just did and make it your own. It's okay to do that. Step number 3, you got to make sure that you did it the right way, so you got to evaluate it. And step number 4, you go on to repeat it, right? Guys, this is going to help you get better, right? You don't have to be the best today. You just got to focus on getting better every single day. You don't have to be the best today. You don't have to be a chairman today. You don't have to be the best leader today. You don't have to be the best trader today. You don't have to be the best, because guess what? When you're always trying to be the best, you're going to be focused on the perfection rather than the progression. No. I don't want you to focus on being the best. I want you to focus on being better every single day. Guys, if you're feeling this, let's drop a 777 inside of the chats right now. If you're understanding what it is that I'm saying, let's drop a 777 inside of the chats right now. Now, guys, as we're talking about becoming better, right? I want to talk about the Bible. In the Bible, it says, iron sharpens iron like man sharpens man. Iron sharpens iron like man sharpens man. Guys, what does this mean? That we have to be able to hold one another accountable. We have to be able to communicate with one another. Guys, just because I follow Christopher Terry, yes, I do what it is that he says. I'm loyal to him as an individual. I am focused on getting the task done that he has given me, right? But here's the thing. If we are not holding one another accountable, if we are not sitting down and actually speaking about what is going on, if we do not sit down and help each other become better, if there is no friction inside of the organization, if there's no testing one another, then we will not become better, and we will continue to do the same thing. And you know what they say, guys, if you do the same thing over and over and over again, but you're expecting different results, you've literally become the definition of insanity. So the first value that Rich taught me was that you gotta, step number one, make it better, right? Now, step number two, value number two. Are you taking it personal? Are you taking this business personal? You know, so often I've been told, when it comes to being a leader, when it comes to, don't take it personal. Don't be that individual that's going to go ahead and take it personal. I say do the exact opposite. I say go out and take it extremely personal. Everything you do should be taken extremely personal. I don't take what other people do personal, but I do take what it is that I do extremely personal, because when you're taking it personal, at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're owning this thing, ladies and gentlemen. So how am I personally engaged with our mission? How am I personally engaged with our vision? You see, you got to think about becoming that. You got to think about the vision. You got to think about the mission. Then you got to be the vision. Then you got to be the mission. And then you got to go out and do what it is that's going to help other people do the exact same thing. Guys, that's how it is that we're going to get better as an organization. This is how it is that we're going to go ahead and literally be able to see quantum growth and quantum leaps as leaders inside of our organization. And quantum growth and quantum leaps as true followers inside of our organization, right? So I want you guys to understand that as we're taking this personal, you literally have to get to a place where you personally understand. Remember, in the beginning of this, I wasn't talking about just becoming a leader. We've done more than enough leadership trainings. I want to talk about how to become a good follower, right? Because truth be told, if you're too big to serve, then you're too small to lead. If you're too big to follow, you're going to be too small to lead. You know, Pastor Rich Wilkerson says, if serving is beneath you, then leading is beyond you. Before you can be any sort of a leader, you have to be able to follow. You have to be able to serve, ladies and gentlemen. So take this thing extremely personal. Take it personal to the point that you are playing all roles, right? You know, I talk about leadership. Leaders, they just lead, but the best leaders, they don't just lead. They know how to play every position on the team. They know how to play every position on the team, so they're able to effectively teach every position on the team, ladies and gentlemen. So you gotta own that portion as well. It's not just owning being a leader. Before you're a leader, you gotta be able to follow. You see, I ask this: if you're willing to play the role of a CEO, at an IBO, an independent business owner of a CEO, are you willing to play the role of somebody inside of a CEO's organization? How do you lead an organization without following first, right? So the first value that we spoke about was that you gotta be able to make it better. You making it better, right? The second thing is you gotta take it personal. That's the second value, right? That's the second value. Rich taught me the third value. You gotta be able to work together. You got to be able, we've heard it over and over and over again. Teamwork makes the dream work, ladies and gentlemen. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So ask yourself this question when you're talking about teamwork, because us as individuals inside of this organization, it's easy to just want to, especially home-based businesses, especially if you are a trader, it's easy to be able to stay at home and not talk to anybody. It's easy to be able to self-isolate yourself, especially during a time like quarantine right now. But here's the thing. I want you to ask yourself this, right? When it comes to teamwork, I want you to ask yourself this. Where am I leveraging the talents and the skill sets of other individuals? You see, as leaders, we want to leverage the talents and the skill sets of ourselves. But as loyal followers, we have to, and creating loyal followers, we have to be able to leverage the skill sets and the talents of other individuals. Right? When it comes to teamwork, another thing that I want you guys to think about is, you can never be too proud to ask for help, but you also can never be too busy to be able to provide that help. You can never be too proud to ask for help, but you can never be too busy to provide that help. A lot of the times we have our hands out and we want, right? We want the help. We want the information. We want the guidance. We want the mentorship. We want. But when you look at what it is that you're giving, do they balance one another? Do they balance one another? Are you giving as much as you are receiving is the question. You see, here's my thing. I'm not as concerned with filling someone else's cup as I am concerned with emptying my own. I'm not as concerned with filling someone's cup as I am concerned with emptying my own. You see, I'm always in a state of give. And eventually, my receiving is a byproduct of how much it is that I give back to the organization. You see, that is teamwork. When you're able to give as much as you can receive, when you're able and willing to give as much as you're willing to receive, is when it is that teamwork is truly formed, ladies and gentlemen. That's when it is that, you see my boy Dante on here, we're mentored by the same man. He's saying, are you a producer or are you a consumer? There's nothing wrong with producing and there's nothing wrong with consuming, but I truly feel that when you find the ideal balance between the two is where you found that pinnacle level, right? So I want you guys to understand that teamwork will dictate the culture of the organization. Teamwork is going to dictate the culture of the organization, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what they say? Culture wins championships. It's not the coach that wins championships. It's not the star player that wins championships. It's literally the culture that is going to win the championship. The culture is the name that you wear upon your jersey, ladies and gentlemen. What type of culture does your organization have? What type of culture does your team have? Is it a team-driven culture or is it a leadership-dependent culture? You see, at no point do Jason Brown and myself try to become the leaders that everything surrounds around, right? At no point do I try to be the leader of my household and everyone surrounds that. And there's moments of ego that come into my life and I realize I'm being that self-centered leader, right? No. When everything revolves around the team, here's what ends up happening. If it's an only leadership-dependent business, or if it's a leadership-dependent organization, a leadership-dependent church, here's the thing what ends up happening, guys, is that when that leader is no longer present, when life happens to that individual and they're not able to show up, the congregation, the organization completely falls and falters. But when you have a team-driven culture, right, here's what's going to end up happening. Regardless if I am here or not, the team continues. Regardless if I am here or not, the movement continues. Regardless if I am here or not, the mission remains the same. You got to ask yourself, are you running a leadership-driven business, or are you running a teamwork-driven business, congregation, and organization, right? The next value that I want to go over, you got to be able to replace yourself. Are you able to replace yourself? You see, so many people fear being replaced. You see, don't operate in fear that if you're replaced, that you're no longer useful. See, I used to think that all the time. Man, if I teach so-and-so how to speak the way I speak, if I teach so-and-so how to think the way I think, if I teach so-and-so how to do what it is that I do, then they're not going to need me inside of their organization. Even worse, what happens if they leave me? Not only that they don't need me, but what happens if they leave me? Well, you got to ask yourself a question. Would you rather have that fear of training somebody and them leaving you, or not training them and them staying with you? You can either fear if you train them, they will leave you, but I rather fear if I don't train them and they stay. What happens when we have an organization where I'm the only one that knows what it is that I know? I'm the only one that's able to work the way it is that I work. I'm the only one that's able to do what it is that I do. What happens at that point, guys? You see, when you're able to replace yourself, you got to ask yourself, who is it that I am empowering today? Every single time I have a conversation with one of my leaders, every single time I have a conversation with the heads of my organization, I got to ask, how is it and who is it that I am empowering today? You see, guys, Rich Wilkerson says this. He says, if you are not bringing someone along and teaching them to do what you're doing, then are you really leading? If you are not bringing someone along that journey and teaching them what it is that you're able to do, are you really leading? You see, you got to intentionally create a pathway for growth and purpose inside of other people's lives. You got to intentionally create a pathway for growth and purpose inside of other people's lives, guys. Guys, in the beginning of every single training, we just did this boot camp, 7-day boot camp, right? And in the beginning of each and every day, I mentioned the same exact thing. It's not about what it is that you can do. I don't care if you're the best speaker. I don't care if you're the best presenter. I don't care if you've got the best skill sets inside of the entire organization. You alone will not win the race. You alone will not win the game. You have to collectively be able to teach other individuals what it is that you know. Because if you're able to teach other individuals what it is that you know, that'll dictate how much it is that they grow. That'll dictate what it is that duplicates within your organization. If you can teach it, it's obvious that it's duplicatable. And duplication leads to momentum in all aspects of life, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not about what it is that you can do, rather what it is that you can teach, right? So the first one that we have, the first value, recap, make it better. How are you personally making the organization, the environment that much better, right? Value number 2, are you taking it personal, right? Are you embodying this organization? Are you embodying the vision? Are you embodying the culture? Step number 3, value number 3, are you working together? Teamwork makes the dream work 10 times out of 10, right? Value number 4, are you able to replace yourself? It's not about what you can do. It's about what it is that we can teach. Because what we can teach is duplicatable, and duplication leads to momentum. I love this one. The next value, stay fit. And when you think about staying fit, the first thing that comes to mind is muscles, our health, our physical health, right? And in a time like this, I mean, it is actually pretty crazy to talk about health, right? But I don't want to just talk about your physical health. You need that. That is a major, major pillar as to what it is that we're about to talk about right now. But you got to ask yourself, how am I taking care of myself spiritually, financially, emotionally, and physically? How am I taking care of myself spiritually, financially, emotionally, and physically? You see, I've been to every continent in the world with the exception of one. I've been to every single continent in the entire world with the exception of Antarctica. And prior to me getting on the planes, right, or prior to us taking off on the planes, no matter what the culture is, no matter what the country is, no matter what the language is, the same thing is always said. In case of an emergency, make sure that you put your mask on first and then help the person beside you put their mask on. They don't say, put the mask on of the person next to you and then put your mask on. Guys, you cannot help someone breathe in case of an emergency if you are not able to breathe yourself. You cannot help somebody physically if you are not physically able to help yourself. You cannot help somebody emotionally if you're not able to emotionally help yourself and be aware of what's going on. You cannot help somebody financially until you are able to financially help yourself. You cannot help somebody grow spiritually unless you are willing to learn how to help yourself spiritually. You see, Pastor Rich Wilkerson, he says, people say you can't take someone where you haven't gone before. And I don't think that's the truth, right? But you cannot take someone where you're not willing to go. You can experience it with them, You can learn it with them. That's one of the best forms of accountability. But you cannot take someone somewhere that you are not willing, that's the word, willing to go on your own, right? So understand, guys, if we're going to be here, we have to choose to be here with the best of our abilities, right? We have to choose to be here with the best of our abilities. How many people know that your work comes home with you? And your work, your home life, your life goes to work with you. Your work comes home with you, and your home life goes to work with you, right? So if we're going to choose to be here, and there's no choice, what it is that's going on in our life is going to follow us no matter where it is that we're going, whether it's in a business realm, whether it's in a relationship realm, whether it's in a spiritual realm, no matter where it is that we're going, this is going to be following us at all times, right? So we got to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. We got to make sure that we are on point with this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We got to make sure that we are staying fit. Because here's the truth. As a leader, as a follower, as a team member, people will be receptive towards your energy. People will be receptive towards your teaching. People will be receptive towards these things. And if you are not able to teach them the right way because you are bringing baggage from work, baggage from, or physically, you're just daunting and you feel uneasy, or mentally you're daunting and you feel uneasy, or spiritually you're daunting and you feel uneasy, financially you're daunting and you feel uneasy. You see, energy is so contagious, and energy spreads rapidly. Positive or negative, energy is going to spread rapidly. And what it is that you're feeling when you're around a group of individuals is what it is that's going to spread very, very, very fast. That's why they say that one rotten apple can spoil the entire bunch. And if you're going to play the role of a leader, or if you're going to play the role of a very, very fundamental follower before you get to that leadership position, you got to be able to stay fit. So other people are not receptive towards the negativity inside of your life. Right? We're all human beings. We're all going to deal with things. We're all going to experience ups and downs. But I want you guys to understand that it cannot be something that is evident and relevant and brought to the workplace every single day, guys. You got to take care of yourself. You got to remain fit in all aspects of life, right? In all aspects of life. So how do you remain fit? Well, a lot of people think that you need balance, right? A lot of people think that you need this balance, right? Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily as much about balance as it is about rhythm. You see, rhythm, balance is perfection. That's all balance is. Balance is literal perfection. If I hold a plank on the side of a barrel and it is balanced, it is perfectly weighted on each side. And in life, there is no such thing as perfection. In life, there is literally no such thing as perfection, right? But we can find a rhythm. And if you've ever listened to a live band, right, especially like salsa comes to mind, right? Salsa comes to mind. I know we got a lot of people in London. They don't play salsa too much in London, right? But salsa comes to mind, and you have the guy hitting the drums, right? And there's a rhythm that's going on. But if you ever seen it played live, right, there's times where the rhythm may fall off, and the band is going to catch up to the rhythm of the drummer regardless, right? That is the drummer's job, to keep the rhythm of the song, right? So it's all about finding that rhythm inside of your life so everybody else will be able to follow along as you lead them through the path, ladies and gentlemen. It's about creating that rhythm. And here's the thing, guys, the rhythms are going to change with the seasons inside of your life, right? One day you may have a happy rhythm. Everything's going good. And then life happens and the rhythm starts to slow down. And it's okay. Seasons are going to happen in your life, and then momentum's going to strike, and it's going to be fast again, and then it's going to slow down at other times. Guys, it's all about being able to dictate the rhythm according to the season inside of your life, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what? A season in my life, right now, things are slowing down. They're going crazy in business. Numbers are picking up. We added 18,000 customers in a 30-day span. We're absolutely crushing it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add 100,000 customers in the next 30 days. It is done, right? But it's picking up on the back end. It's picking up on webinars. But the rest of my life is slowing down. I'm not able to go outside. Guys, I have a beautiful beach right there that I'm not able to access because we're on quarantine right now, right? So life is slowing down. I'm not able to go to the gym, right? That's a huge part of my life. It's what keeps my rhythm going high. So I have to adapt. We're going to talk about adaptability in a second, right? That's the final value that we have within an organization, but I have to be able to adapt to the rhythm, right, of my current season inside my life. If you're frustrated right now, It's okay. So am I. If you're anxious right now because of what's going on, it's okay. I experienced that as well. And maybe you're experiencing a little bit of depression because of uncertainty. That's okay. It's just a season inside of life right now. And we have to be able to keep the rhythm inside of our lives. Just because things are not in our control does not mean that we can lose control. You understand what it is that I'm saying? Just because things are not in control in our lives, we cannot control what's going on inside. We cannot control the laws that our countries are holding. We cannot control any of that. But what we can control is what we can control. We can control our mentality. We can control our work ethic. We can control these certain things. So do not lose control because of what is not in control. You guys feel me? Drop a 777 inside of the chats if you guys are vibing with what it is that I'm saying. Drop a 777 inside of the chats, guys. Now, the last value that I want to go over, is you gotta remain flexible. You gotta remain flexible, right? How do you manage tension brought from new ideas, right? From innovation and change, right? How are you managing the change inside of your life, the change inside of your business, the change inside of your organization? Us as individuals, naturally, we don't like change, especially if things are going right. We don't like change. You know, we experienced a change in the billing cycle, something as small and minuscule as a change in the billing cycle. 95% of the organization was good. 5% started freaking out. They didn't even know why they were freaking out. Why is there change? I don't like change. Things are already going good. Don't fix what's not broken. We don't like change naturally, right? But change isn't always a negative. As a matter of fact, change helps us practice different things inside of our lives. Change helps us practice flexibility. Change helps us practice adaptability. Change and innovation leads to so much more that is positive than it will ever lead to negativity. Change is going to make it that much better, right? So how is it that you manage the tension that is brought inside of your life from new ideas, from innovation, and from change? You see, our creator, God, the universe, whatever it is that you respectively believe in, they're always going to give us the what before they give us the how. And how we, check this out. I think you guys are really going to like this. We're always going to be given the what. Change is inevitable. Change is going to happen regardless. We're always going to be given the what. How we respond to the what is how quick we'll discover the how. How we respond to the what will dictate how quick we are able to discover the how. See, the problem is never the problem, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is how it is that you decide to react to the said problem, right? So it's okay. Change is inevitable. But how are you willing to truly be able to adapt towards that change, right? Everyone's down for change. Everyone wants to be better. Everyone wants to become more tranquil. Everyone wants to become more at ease. Everyone wants to become more tranquil. Everyone wants to become more present. Everyone's down for change, and so change happens. You guys ever notice that? Everyone's down for change. You know how many times I said, hey, I can't wait to become more present. I can't wait to become more focused. I can't wait to have a little bit more downtime. I can't wait to spend more time with my wife. I can't wait to spend some time at home. And then the quarantine happens. Then we freak out. I gotta spend time at home? What? I gotta spend time with my loved ones? You're getting on my nerves. I can't sit still. We were just praying to be able to sit still. We were just praying to be able to find just like a downtime, a moment of peace. And the fact that we are forced to have that moment of peace, the fact that we are forced to stay home, the fact that we are forced to quarantine, now it is against our will. And we freak out. Everyone's down to change until change happens, right? So how is it that you're going to deal with this tension? How are you going to deal with this change? Think about yoga for a moment, right? Anybody that's done yoga on this call, oh man, Instagram's funny. Think about yoga for a moment. Anybody that's done yoga on this call, I don't know about you guys, I can barely touch my toes. I am not flexible. Lord knows I'm not flexible. I'm strong, I'm fast, but my recovery is awful because I'm not flexible. Right? I could barely touch my toes. And I remember being in yoga. My wife was a yoga instructor for many years. And I remember specifically, she would have me hold these poses. And my God, was that ungodly pain that made me want to quit and never come back. I can lift 325 pounds, but I can't hold a pigeon pose for more than 2 minutes. You breathe into that pain. You breathe into that tension. In order to deal with tension, guys, you have to stretch. You have to stretch your mentality on a supernatural experience, but on a natural experience, you got to stretch the muscles inside of your body. You see, you have to be able to stretch whatever it is that is causing the tension. But here's the thing, stretch it and don't come from a place of defense. Stretch it and don't come from a place of being protective. Guys, the moment that change happens inside of my life, immediately I become protective. My guard goes up. Immediately, the moment that there's change inside of my life, I start to freak out, right? Immediately, the moment that there's change in my life, I'm like this, I'm not down for this said change. No. Stretching hurts. I get that, right? The tension that is caused by that is causing that pain, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. But the more that you do it, the more you can face pressure. The more that you're able to face pressure, it becomes easier to adapt to specific situations. I'm gonna say that again, guys. The more that you're uncomfortable, the more that you face that pressure, and the more that you face that, the easier it becomes to adapt to specific situations. So I always and consistently find myself trying to adapt with specific situations. You know, yesterday I came to some personal realizations about myself, and it was one of the hardest days mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that I've had in a very long time. But I also think it was one of the most productive and conducive times that I've ever had towards my life. Go out and look for that tension. Go out and look for that pressure, because inside of that tension, inside of that pressure, adaptability is going to grow. And the more you're able to adapt to specific situations in life, the easier it is to roll with the punches, the easier it is to become that much better. The easier it is to become that much better. So whatever's changing inside of your life, just understand, guys, it's changing for a reason. And you got to look at the bigger picture. We weren't called to be put in a room. We were called to be put in the house, right? We're not just called to be put in the room. Often we get locked inside of our own rooms, not realizing that we're building a house, we're building a kingdom, right? We're doing so much more than that. So to get stuck inside of a little space because we fear change completely goes against everything that we're trying to do on a larger scale. So guys, these are the values that I want you guys to live by when building this business. These are the values that I want you guys to live by when building an organization, when conducting a team. If you guys want to learn directly from Rich Wilkerson on how to do this, I'll go ahead and I will shoot me a message. I'll send you guys the video, the YouTube video where it was that I was able to learn a lot of this stuff from. But guys, I truly believe over the course of the next 90 days, we're going to experience quantum growth inside of our organizations, inside of our trading accounts, inside of our lives, inside of our spirituality. I mean, just so many different aspects, right? And you got to be ready for that growth, because with growth comes responsibility, right? And it's not just about getting better, right? It's not just about growing. It's so much more than that. This journey that we're on, there's no how-to manual. And I definitely understand that. There's no how-to manual on this journey that we're going through right now. But the sooner that we're able to realize that, the sooner that we're ready for this growth, the sooner that we're ready for the responsibility that comes along with it, the sooner you'll begin to enjoy this journey that much more. I declare over the next 90 days, ladies and gentlemen, over the next 90 days, we're going to see monumental growth inside of our lives. Finances, I mean, absolutely everywhere. Are you ready for that growth? So Roger, I'll pass this back on over to you. Instagram Live. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And, we have this recorded. So I look forward to the opportunity, and I can't wait to be in y'all cities again, touring and spending time with you guys and teaching you guys and learning with you guys and just building an amazing organization with each and every single one of you guys. So God bless you guys. I adore you guys. I'm grateful for the opportunity to lead. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Matt, thank you for that. Amazing stuff as ever. Again, I have more pages of notes to add to everything else that I got over the last few days. Okay, guys, so I can't follow that. I've got absolutely nothing to add to that. The only thing I will say, and it's not adding on to that, is simply to say that now for the next 4 days, we have Matt and Jason giving us 4 presentations a day for the next 4 days in a row. The links are already in all of our groups. We'll make sure the links get posted out again. This recording will also be posted out shortly, so you've got that. If anyone missed it, because we were maxed out, so if anybody missed it, we're going to get those on shortly. And we will see you all again very, very soon. Normally, every Monday, Brandon Boyd does this training for us. That's also always excellent. You're more than welcome to come along. In the meantime, we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.